Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Finding Your Joy. Oh, happy to have you with us today. And I'm just so thrilled to share a beautiful friend of mine. I have interviewed her over the years and just fell in love with her. I have Christie Pinto with us today. She's joining us from the beautiful country of Australia. So fantastic. Christie is a dynamic personal business coach, mentor, author, and healer. She has devoted her life to inspiring people to live the life they love. She is driven by a profound belief that when we live from the heart, our lives become more joyful and fulfilling. Her vision is of living in a world where millions of people feel inspired to discover their full potential and feel connected with themselves and with life. You are just so amazing, Christie, and you do so much for others. Honey, I want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you, Paula. Lovely to be here.
Oh, I love it. I love it. For any new listeners that this is the first time they have hearing you, tell us a little bit about your background, please.
Okay, so Paula, years ago, I used to work in information technology, and I used to love the work that I did. But over time, what I found was that I started to feel somehow uncomfortable with the sort of work I was doing. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me because I had great colleagues, I enjoyed the work, I enjoyed the clients. And after a time, I found I started to feel more and more uncomfortable within myself. And that's when I started to realize that a crisis point, to cut the story short, coming up for 8 years ago, where I really felt like I was going to be torn in two. And in that moment, I realized that really I had another calling in life, and that was coaching. And later on, that evolved into healing. And that's where I've been ever since. And I've never had that feeling of being torn in half ever since that moment.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you are such an amazing coach and you do so much for others. And I'm really excited about our topic today, what we discussed and what we're going to share today. Christie's going to talk about leadership and leading yourself. So, Christie, share your thoughts on that with us, please.
Okay. Thanks, Paula. So I picked this topic because what I'm seeing around me right now is that a lot of people who have leadership potential, but they're just not actually being in a leadership position because they don't see themselves as leaders, right? And I felt, well, what can I do about that? And this is why I thought if I spread some thoughts, some ideas to actually help people to, I guess, get triggered to understand that they probably are a leader, but just not being seeing it that way, that they may start to re-examine what they're doing in their lives and go, wow, okay, maybe I can lead and have more confidence about leading.
I love it. I love it. So what are your steps that you would suggest for someone that wants to be more of a leadership role or to find those skills that they may not realize they have?
Okay. Well, if I may, I'm going to start with a definition
Great.
of what is leadership. Right?
Great.
So having been brought up in the UK, in London, of course, I'm going to use the definition from the Oxford Dictionary. And the definition they give is that a leader is a person who causes others to go with him or her by guiding and showing the way, guides by persuasion and argument. Okay? So they actually show people the way. They actually, and I would actually add to that definition, I feel a leader is also somebody who inspires others.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. So quite often people think a leader is somebody that's something like a CEO or a director of some sort or a politician or somebody in a position of authority, right? But my definition of it is that leadership is actually not a position. It's a decision that you want to lead in some way. right?
Love that.
So the first step really in being a leader is deciding you are one, no matter what the situation. And that might sound a bit strange for some of your listeners or some of your viewers out there, but I've seen people who lead their households really well. Now, without them being a leader in their household, the household would fall apart. And where would we all be?
Yes.
Right, in our homes? Right?
Yes.
So quite often, there are many women and men out there who are leading households. They don't see themselves as a leader. Oh, I'm just running a house. Hello? Sounds like me. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So the first step is recognition and seeing yourself as being that leader. So what's the next stage? Well, the other thing is, though, is that when people feel quite emotional, they don't see themselves as a leader because they go, oh, yeah, but to be a leader, I need to be like X, Y, and Z. I need to be a certain way. And they then start to feel, maybe I'm not that leader because I lose confidence, or I get angry, or I don't have any emotional control, right? So in that moment, what's important is for them to recognize they need to develop those skills to lead themselves better first. It doesn't mean they're not a leader just because of those things. It just means they haven't learned to manage those things that prevent them seeing themselves as a leader.
Yes. I love
so my suggestion to the people viewing and listening is to say, okay, well, what is then self-leadership? Is actually to understand what is it that's preventing you seeing that you're a leader. Is it some thoughts you've got about yourself? Is it some emotions that you don't have under control? Is it simply that you've seen yourself somehow as being smaller and not capable? Right? And those are the things you need to work on. Right? Because once you start to address those and start to actually work on yourself and feel stronger in yourself, have a better way of controlling your emotions, in that moment, you can be the leader you want to be.
I love it. I love it. So a lot is beginning with just recognizing what's holding you back. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely, Paula. I mean, I'm sure people come to you for healing because there's stuff holding them back, stuff that's blocking them.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you see in some people that you know could be leaders?
Yes.
What do you see in your healing sessions?
Well, I would say abilities and, certain gifts that they have that they really don't realize or tap into.
Yeah.
That they have and don't realize, because we all have gifts. We all have special gifts. We're all unique. And sometimes we really don't look at that and we don't realize that because we're looking elsewhere.
That is such a fantastic point. Right?
Thank you.
And this is going back to what I was saying earlier, that there are a lot of leaders out there, but they don't see themselves as that because they don't have a position. So again, I will repeat, leadership is a decision, not a position.
I love it.
So the other thing people often don't realize is that in different situations, their leaders, they may be a leader. For example, if some friends I know, they teach sport, right? So in that case, they're a leader in that field when they're teaching the sport. But in another situation, maybe they don't take the lead, right? So the leadership can also vary. So that's the other thing that prevents people seeing themselves as a leader. They just feel like you have to be charging from the front all the time. Follow me, we're going that way. So basically, in a nutshell, we all have leadership capability. It's the recognition of in which situation and what are the gifts and skills we got, as you've said. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd love to help the viewers to tune into maybe what sort of leadership, or to tune into their leadership more, right? Their self-leadership. And the reason I'm focusing for the moment just on self-leadership is if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. So if you can't understand your emotions and what's happening with your emotions, if you can't see your skills, if you don't appreciate your gifts, it's very difficult to lead others. Right?
Great point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one suggestion I've got for the viewers is to say, okay, well, what am I really good at? What are my gifts? And quite often people actually dismiss gifts like organizational skills. They go, oh yeah, I'm organized, but hey, that's nothing big. Well, I've seen plenty of people that are disorganized and the chaos they cause. And I've seen people in managerial positions, in CEO positions, in director positions that are very disorganized.
Yes.
But luckily they've got a PA behind them, a personal assistant that helps get organized.
Yes.
Without that, they would not maintain their leadership position.
Yes. Yay for PAs.
Yay for PAs. But the point is not about PAs and things. The point is
yes.
You do have some gifts. So I find a very powerful technique that's very simple is be really honest with yourself and admit what your gifts are. Yeah?
Yeah.
We too often dismiss them, saying, oh, that's not worth anything. And I'm going, well, hang on. Like, for example, one of my gifts is cooking. Now I go, oh, millions of people cook, right? Well, I've been to dinners where people cannot cook and it's awful. You do not want to go to somebody's place and they can't cook. Yeah, they don't have that gift. And it's suddenly in that moment, your gift or their gift of cooking becomes really important. Right?
Yeah.
So
you realize.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So some people are great, for example, at being empathetic. Right?
Yes.
They can tune into people. Oh, it's a beautiful gift to have. And they go,
yes.
oh, yeah, well, I like being nice to people. And they're very dismissive about it. But being empathetic with others is one of the most beautiful gifts you can offer anybody.
I agree. Right? Oh, I agree.
And when you're empathetic with people, you're actually able to lead them. Right? Yeah, because they feel that you care, that you listen to them. And in that position, you're able to actually direct them, influence them, help them to help themselves, help them to do whatever they're doing better. Right?
Yes.
So it's such a beautiful gift to have. And too few people recognize and appreciate that.
Yes.
So I'm hoping those few examples I've given people who are viewing and listening will trigger them to go, okay, what are my gifts? So if you've got a moment, and if you just take a moment and you've got a paper and a pen, or even if you've got your mobile phone, I would suggest just putting down at least 3 things at the moment about what are your gifts. Right? And while you're doing that, tell me, Paula, what are your gifts while the viewers are doing that?
Well, I'm definitely, I think the empathic and empathy. And I hadn't really thought of that as a leadership skill. But you're right. If people know you care, that can help them to follow and achieve. And then I would say, I think one of my gifts may be inspiration. I think inspiring people is a beautiful thing. And then I think probably I would say top of the list, even though it's may not be a gift, but I see it as a huge gift, is my ability and my opportunity to share people like you, Christie, and my other wonderful guests. I think it's a great gift.
Well, I'd actually add another one to your gift list. A really warm heart, Paula. Oh, yeah, your warmth pours out of you every time I speak with you. And I do find you very inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So I'm hoping our conversation has triggered the people viewing and listening today to actually recognize gifts that they hadn't realized actually acknowledged as gifts before. Okay, so that's one step. So I'm going to switch tack now. So let's just say then you think, okay, well, I am a leader, perhaps, right? But what about the fact that I get overwhelmed? What about the fact that I get frustrated? What about all these, strong emotions I've got, right?
Yes.
Oh, shouldn't a leader be really calm and controlled and, very zen? Well, yes, that helps. Yeah. But just because you have those emotions doesn't mean you're not a leader. So to be a better leader and to lead yourself better, one technique I found that is simple is to, when you find yourself having one of those strong emotions, right, where you're feeling really overwhelmed or frustrated or angry, where you really feel like, oh my God, I'm about to lose control with this, is actually, rather than fighting it and telling yourself you shouldn't be feeling that way, recognize that that emotion is trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you something about what's going on for you right now. Right? And one of the things that's most useful for people is to actually go right into the emotion. Because I may have said this to you before, Paula, but you know, the word emotion contains within it two parts: emotion, energy in motion. So whatever feeling you've got needs to move. So you go, well, how do I move the feeling? Well, strangely enough, you move the feeling by being with it fully. So if you're feeling angry, you actually let yourself feel that you're angry. Okay, just feeling it, being still, and you'll notice that the anger starts to move. Right?
Yeah.
It will start to actually move by itself without you having to do anything. Now, you might go, oh no, but what if I continually feel angry? It's about the same thing, and I've tried that technique, but I just don't want to keep getting into that situation over and over. Now, if you find that just doing that by being angry and trying to, sorry, not being angry, excuse me, I just start again. So when you go into the emotion and you find it's moved, great, but it keeps coming up for you over and over and over again, that's the time where you actually need to seek help from somebody that can show you how to move it or to help you move it. Somebody like Paula, for example, with her healing, or someone like myself for coaching. Right? That's when you seek help with a professional, where you really find that that's something as simple as that just is not cutting it. But majority of situations, staying with the emotion does help to move it and helps you manage yourself better. Right? So when you manage to manage your emotions, what you find comes up for you is your natural intuition.
Oh,
Right?
I love
And your
it.
natural wisdom.
Yes.
And from that position, you are in a much better position to lead your life. And also, if you are in a leadership position within work or within your home, to lead the people around you much more effectively, right? Because
Yes.
you've got out of that turmoil, that washing machine of emotion, and gone into a calm space that's deeply intuitive, that's deeply wise. And actually, it's the wisdom you're born with. Right?
Yes.
And that is where inspirational leadership comes from.
Yes. I love that. And Christy, I love that you said, we lead our own life. So really, and that's so true. We all are a leader in that
Mm,
way because we are leading our own life. So we
yeah,
can know I am a leader.
yeah, that's right. And when you are able to get in tune with your emotions, you know how to move them, you know how to change them, you can actually start to be more positive about yourself and about life. Right? And you can start
Yes.
to, from that place, make different decisions to perhaps what you've made before. Right?
Yes.
And it leads you then to what I always say the penultimate is then to start to lead a life you love. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And from that place, no matter what position you're in, you can't help but be a more effective leader of others.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. It's just going to flow. It's just going to
Yeah.
flow in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. So some people might be going, oh, Christy, I can't do it. You know, that just sounds, I'm here and I'm stressed out. How can I possibly have the wherewithal to even sit in my emotion? So let's do something even simpler. Simpler. And one thing is, I've always found that works, and we often forget, breathe.
I love it. Yes. We do often forget.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, people who have watched my interviews in the past will go, oh, that one again. Yes, that one again, I'm afraid.
It's biggie. It's a biggie.
It's a biggie. It's a biggie because, as you know, our body is wired that when we're emotional or when we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, we just can't think. We're just churning. Our mind's churning.
Yes.
But what's happening is, on a physical level, our breath moves into our chest. And because our breath moves into our chest, it makes our thoughts churn even faster, right? So basically, what I find is to break that cycle where your thoughts are just all over the place, you feel overwhelmed, and your breath is short, is to actually deepen the breath. Now, the moment you do that, in an instant, it breaks that cycle that's going round. Says, oh, okay. Because what happens is when your breath moves further down your body, your thoughts also have to slow down. Now, it would actually take me half an hour just to go through the biology of that, right? But basically, that is on a simple level, that's how our bodies work. That's how they're wired to do. And if you don't believe me, just try it out on your own churning.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
So people go, oh yeah, but what do you mean by breathe? How do you try to breathe? What do I do? So the simplest technique that I know, but the most effective, is following your breath. Let's just say you're in an environment where you're in the office, you can't close your eyes, you're not in an ideal situation. I find just by simply focusing on your breath going in through your nose and down as far as you can, and then following it with your attention as it comes out again, even with your eyes open, already has a calming effect. So let's just try that out now for the people viewing and listening. Breathing in and paying 100% attention to the breath, and then exhaling and paying 100% attention to your breath again. And we do that 2 more times again, watching it fully as you go in, watching as it comes out. Watching it as it goes in, watching it as it comes out. And there you are, your eyes are open, nobody's noticed anything.
Yeah.
But you will notice you feel calmer,
Yes.
more balanced, and in a better place to make decisions.
Yes.
And to think more clearly.
Yeah. Simple, but yet so effective. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Christy, before we say goodbye today, will you please share your information and how the listeners and the viewers can contact you?
Absolutely. So my website is called www.crystalclearhorizons.com. And for the viewers out there and listeners, there's a template I've actually created for January especially to help you plan out your 2018, right? To make it the sort of life that you want. Right? So some of
Yes.
it could be how to lead yourself better, and some of it you might want to say, okay, well, how you want to lead others better. That could be incorporated in there. So whatever you want for 2018, whatever you want to improve in your life is on the website. And for those of you who are going, oh God, I would love some more technique so I can think clearly, I've actually got free resources on my website under free stuff. Right? So if you go under there, you'll find 3 different pieces of material I've created to help you to actually calm yourself and to think more clearly and to tune into your natural abilities and your leadership skills.
I love it.
And if you want further assistance and you want to work with me directly, there's a way to contact me on the website.
I love it. I love it. And also, everyone, you can check out my website for information about Christie, wellnessinspired.com. You can go to kknw.com, and also the show will be on YouTube. So everyone, this has been great. Now, Christie, we have about a minute left in the show. What last words do you want to say to everybody today?
Well, everyone has a leadership capability. It's recognizing what form that takes. Right? Is it in your house, in the sports you're interested in, within a company environment, within your own business, whatever area that is, each and every one of us has some ability to lead, right? So we are actually all born leaders.
Yes.
Timon recognized it.
I love it. I love it. You are such an inspiration, my dear.
Thank you.
You are. You
Always a
are.
pleasure to be on your show, Paula. So thank you for having me today. And thank you to the viewers and listeners for joining us.
Just so honored. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and love, hugs, and blessings. Christy, love, hugs, and blessings. Bye.
Take care, Paula. Bye.
Thank you.